get healthy. They are thin in the front court. Depth could be an issue this year, but we know they're going to play hard as Jalen Jackson-Posey brings the Aggies out of the backcourt in the home white. Sul Ross State in the road black. And the pass by Jackson-Posey is mishandled by post player Casey Iziagu.
Well, perfectly executed play, and Big Casey just couldn't catch the ball. So we've already got one turnover. We're already in trouble here.
Backdoor pass, layup missed by Kalen Abels. Pushing is Jalen Jackson-Posey. He played well on Monday. Hangs, floats, misses the floater. Rebound collected by Bryce Harris for Sul Ross State. We mentioned earlier the Aggies hung around for a half. They were down 8 at the break before they ran out of steam in half 2 at Rupp Arena on Monday. Catch and shoot 3 is short. Will Fever a miss, collected by Monty Jackson, defensive. Jackson-Posey, a transfer from Stephen F. Austin in the WAC. 3 for Cook. That's what he does well, Russ.
That's right, and he's got a very efficient shot. It's a really beautiful shot. He's got a quick release, no wasted motion. He was a terrific player at Northeastern State, Oklahoma last year, one of the top Division II programs in the country.
42% from 3 a year ago for Cook at the D2 level. Tough matchup here for Casey Iziagu, but he forces Sul Ross State into a turnover. Thrown away by Will Fever. Ball back to the Aggies.
And pretty good defense by Jaden Harris. They're denying the ball at the top of the key. He's the South Plains player. Oh. And there's Christian Cook, makes it look nice and easy. He's got a very efficient, quick release, and as you mentioned, 42% last year.
Jackson-Posey will inbound, floats it in for Cook. 16 a game a year ago at the D2 level. Jackson-Posey goes away from the Iziagu ball screen, nearly overthrows Cook. Cook lost it, picked up by Harris, blocked away by Cook. That's goaltending though, and it'll count, the first bucket for Sul Ross State.
Just a sloppy pass there, and watch Christian Cook is just too late to do anything, but gave it a try anyway.
Jalen Jackson-Posey runs the offense. 10 points, 8 rebounds, 6 helpers on Monday against number 16 Kentucky. There's Jaden Harris, the JUCO transfer. Slings it out for Jackson-Posey. Post touch for Iziagu.
And that's what he does well. He really uses his body. He's very smart around the basket.
3 for Peterson, too strong. Iziagu probably won't score a ton, Russ, but he's going to defend and rebound.
No, and he's battled knee injuries all his career, and he's really a gutsy kid.
Jaden Harris will go to the free throw line for 2. Do you feel like right now the defense is ahead of the offense? I know Jason Hooten wants them to play hard, and they're going to play hard, but is the defense ahead of the offense right now?
I would say so, and I think it's because, it's going to take more than just great effort on offense. You're going to have to think and relax and play with each other. They're just too new to play with each other, but you can play hard defensively no matter where you are. By the way, Adam, have you ever been to Alpine, Texas?
I have not.
It is a really beautiful town. I was there last year for a few days, and it's a great historical town and terrific restaurants, and it's scenic. And we walked through the campus, there were deer on the campus.
Wow.
It just seemed like a wonderful place.
About 4 hours away from here. Not a bad bus trip for Sul Ross, D3 program transitioning to Division II starting next year. High level pressure here on the arc for the Aggie defense. If you're going to play for Jason Hooten, you better play hard. The 3 is misfired by Nelson. Offensive rebound though for Harris. Last year at Sam Houston, Jason Hooten's squad held opponents to 59 points per game. Fancy finish for Nelson, 15 a game a year ago for him.
Yeah, Trey Nelson is their best returning player for sure, and he was a nice calm move there, waiting for things to open up around the basket.
Aggies 2 for 3 from the field on this end. Trying to get Iziagu free down low. Good denial down low by Harris. Right to Iziagu though, jump stop, and he will shoot a pair. He is a load, Russ. He is listed 6'10", 270. We saw him last year at Sam Houston. We were really impressed when we saw him a year ago.
Yes, we weren't happy to see him last year. We're happy to see him this year, though.
Gosh, we saw him 4 or 5 years ago when he was playing for UTEP.
Yes, yeah.
He was playing for Rodney Terry at UTEP.
And again, he's had knee problems on and off now for years. He really struggles. So I have great admiration for him because he's a real workhorse.
Yeah, struggled from the free throw line his entire career. He was 48% a year ago at Sam Houston, 50% for his career. 21 in white comes in. That is Robert Carpenter. Transfer from Mississippi Valley State. Jordan Rawls comes in as well. He's a transfer from Western Kentucky. Ezeagu, true to his season and his career percentage from a year ago, splits the pair. Really tough matchups all over the floor for Ezeagu. Sul Ross not very big, so Ezeagu having to guard a 6'5" player, Bryce Harris.
But it's good to watch it. It's good to make him make that effort. And against Kentucky, he struggled a little bit because you wind up on against shooters when you're playing against Kentucky.
Kick out. 3 on the way from Harris, way short. Tipped out of bounds, last touched by Sul Ross State. Right now the Aggies going with Cook, Ezeagu, Carpenter, Jordan Rawls, and Jaden Harris. Once again, Brandon Suggs, who did not play Mondays, battling a foot injury. He said he's going to give it a go tonight, so we should see Suggs. Probably limited minutes, but he should come off the bench and play in this one. And Jason Hooten feels like Suggs will be 12 to 15 points per game. Good move by Jaden Harris, who scores.
Yeah, he's tough and quick. Can play a few different spots.
Harris, a transfer from South Plains JUCO. He was 15 a game there, and you've been raving about South Plains for years, Russ.
Well, it was Steve Green, who was at Texas Tech last year in his final year of coaching, it seems, but they'd won 3 national championships in the last 10 or 15 years. So it's one of the top JUCO programs in the country.
15 a game should translate well to the D1 level. The Aggies off to a good start from the field. 3 for 4 shooting, led by 4 from Jaden Harris. They lead by 6 here in the home opener. I think the entire football team, which is 90-plus guys, Russ, so that is a tall task to try to get the entire team off the floor.
And what a couple great years they've had. Unbelievable. Jerry Kill on the New Mexico State Aggie football team. It's inspiring.
I know you're a big Jerry Kill fan.
Hey, well, I'm a fan because he seems like such a regular guy.
Yep.
He just seems like the guy you'd be, chatting over your back fence with as you were mowing the lawn. He doesn't seem like an ego or he just seems like a regular guy. But I think he's a sort of a mad genius. I think he's a quiet genius.
Big game for Aggie football at Western Kentucky this weekend. A chance to go to the Conference USA Championship game with a win. So a lot left to play for. Here's Carpenter in the high post. Aggie ball ahead by 6. Harris a sidestep 3. No good. Carpenter fighting for it. Last touch by Sul Ross State. I like the confidence, though, from Jaden Harris. We were talking before the break about 15 a game at the JUCO level. Should translate pretty well to the D1 level. He's been starting out of the gate as Jonathan Kanyanga comes in for Ezeagu.
Yeah, Jaden Harris, what I've noticed about him in practice is he plays hard. You don't have to wind him up, boy. His motor runs.
There's Tyler Jackson in off the bench for the Lobos from Sul Ross State. Left wing 3 is good for Gabe Sanchez, fresh off the bench, 6'2" senior guard. Jordan Rawls running the point, Western Kentucky transfer. Carpenter has really good range. Left it short. Mishandled by Devereaux Minix, and it goes out of bounds on the end line. Russ, when you're trying to get a brand new team of all new players to mesh, is shot selection tougher because you're trying to mesh as a team?
Well, I think so, and everyone's trying extra hard to do what Jason Hooten wants. The practices I've been to, I think we have terrific young men. They just seem like great guys, and they're all trying extra hard and probably overcompensating, trying to execute the way Jason Hooten wants them to, which is a good problem at this point of the year. But by January they'll have to relax and still play within themselves, but be able to relax and just go play ball, and it'll be second nature to them by January, I hope.
Brandon Suggs now in the game for the first time this year. Big-time transfer from Central Florida. Before that, he was at East Carolina, number 4 in white. Blocked by Kanyanga, who was 4 blocks a game last year at the D2 level. Super athletic big man. Rolls with it. Trying to skip it. Passes deflected. Taken by Nelson. No numbers, though. Deep 3 for Sanchez. He's hit a pair.
Now, this was a bit of a problem at Kentucky that I saw. Is if you've watched Jason Hooten's teams play, they always get back and find they don't give up easy shots off the fast break. And at Kentucky it happened, which is more or less understandable, but it shouldn't happen against Sul Ross State tonight.
A lot of dribbling here for Rawls, still with it. Late in the shot clock, strong move by Carpenter. Shot was altered, gets his own miss, puts up a shot again, and he will shoot a pair.
Yeah, Jordan Rawls a little bit frustrated there, but have you watched this Hayden Peterson, the Wyoming kid for Sul Ross? Boy,
plays hard.
Yeah, boy, he really defends and leaves you no options but to sort of get frustrated.
Carpenter still trying to knock off some rust. He missed a ton of time in the preseason with an injury. Heck, a lot of Aggies missed some time in the preseason with injuries. So Carpenter, he's only had a handful of practices. So we'll see how much he can play tonight. He was at St. Bonaventure, then Pearl River Community College, and then most recently Mississippi Valley State, where he averaged 8. Jackson Posey comes back in, so another ball handler out there. Back end of 2 for Carpenter, junior out of Detroit. And the Aggies snap a 2-minute, 20-second scoreless drought. Fun to watch Jason Hooten coach when the Aggies are on defense. Almost like he's in the game playing. Sanchez connects for a 3rd time. Sul Ross with the lead.
And the Aggies just not quite recovering quickly enough on defense.
Jackson Posey guarded tightly by Nelson. Carpenter hands it off to Suggs. And Suggs will go to the free throw line. And we feel like probably only 15 minutes or so here tonight for Suggs, who did not play Monday. It was a foot injury for him. Happened in one of those secret scrimmages. So Suggs is trying to work his way back from an injury, and he's such a key piece for us. This is his 106th career game here tonight.
Yeah, and we expect big things out of him, but it's not going to be a secret game. If you talk about it on television, it's no longer a secret. But yes, I watched the one here against Eastern Washington. Saw a lot of great flashes. It was a close the whole way, which is of course better at this time of year. You don't want to be in a blowout this time of year. You want to be in close games.
Suggs approaching 900 career points. Should get to 1,000 this year during his career. That's the last touch by Sanchez. Well, Sul Ross, they missed their first 5 threes. Since then, Sanchez has connected on 3 in a row, and that's an empty possession for the Lobos from Sul Ross State. Jackson Posey, Jackson, Suggs, Rawls, and Kanyanga. Aggie turnover. Nelson on the other end scores right around Jackson Posey. Jackson Posey will attack. Circles underneath, good dump off. Monty Jackson wide open there with the left hand.
The Aggies looking a little bit disjointed at this part. Did you see Jason over there scratching his head a little bit, as I was here on the sidelines? There's just a lot of rust and cobwebs to clear out here.
3 is too strong for Nelson. Sanchez rips it in though, and a foul is called in the arc. Well, I know Jason Hooten won't like that when the Aggies get beat to a loose ball.
No. But just from what we've seen so far, Adam, I would say that Sul Ross is a heck of a Division III team for this year. And they're making the move into Division II, and that may have helped their recruiting quite a bit.
Yeah, they're going to a tough Division II league as well for basketball, the Lone Star Conference, which is really good in all sports, especially hoops.
That's where Charlton State was in the Lone Star for many years.
Now, a lot has changed because a lot of those D2 schools are transitioning to Division I, so it's hard to figure out which is the best D2 league now for hoops. Manny Flores in the game now, El Paso native, and the Aggies force the Lobos into a shot clock violation.
Now that's the kind of defense we've seen from Jason Hooten for the last 20 years, where the other team can't even get a shot up.
That's his MO, right? I mean, they're going to score, but they're really going to defend, and if they're allowing opponents to average below 60, that's where he wants to be. And it's hard to get there, but a year ago at Sam Houston, 59 points per game allowed defensively, which was 4th in the country.
And it used to be if you were holding teams to low scoring, it was because you held the ball, but there's no holding the ball anymore with the shot clock. So I think it is a good indicator. It didn't used to be you could just walk the ball up the court and throw 30 passes and then it looked like you were playing good defense. But now there's no holding the ball with a 30-second clock.
Here's Manny Flores, Chapin High School grad from El Paso. Swings it for Fever. Lost it. 3 Aggies right there. And Yanga dumps it off to Jaden Harris, who lost the handle. The Aggies have committed 5 turnovers. Sul Ross right now, 6 for 14 from the field. Before that, made 3. That is the 4th made 3 for Gabe Sanchez.
And he's feeling it. He's happy down at the other end of the court. Sanchez off the bench. Floater is good for Jalen Jackson Posey. It's fun to watch him when he was at Stephen F. Austin, transferring to the Aggies, a key piece of the team this year. Long 3. Actually, it's going to be a pass. He thought about shooting it. Deflected away out of bounds, and it's going to stay with Sul Ross State. So Lobo basketball when we come back. Sanchez on fire. 4 triples for the senior. Sul Ross leads by a pair. Our first halftime segment during the Nusenda Credit Union halftime show tonight. They have a good hoodie selection.
They do. Good hoodie selection. They have jerseys. They have hats. They have the whole 9 yards. Kaylin Abels will trigger in for Sul Ross State. Sanchez, the story for them, number 14 in black, who's in the right corner area right now. He's made 4 threes, so he's going to go backdoor here. He's stripped away by Cook. Ball is loose. Sanchez gets it again. 5 triples. Sanchez, all smiles on top of Lou Henson court.
Well, he knows he's hot, and he knew it was in as soon as he put it up, you could tell.
Season opener for the Lobos, and it's been the Sanchez show off the bench. Jackson Posey penetrates, left it short. Isiagu puts it up and banks it in. 4 for Casey Isiagu. Better guard Sanchez. Right now the assignment is Jaden Harris. Sanchez just running around like he's Steph Curry trying to catch the ball. Harris, good denial, near wing. Here's Fever, backdoor. Off the backboard, no change in possession. Lobos have to throw up a shot. It's missed by Miles Amundsen. Cook thought about it. The Aggies reset with Jackson Posey. Backdoor, Casey Isiagu again. Stays patient, missed it short. But he slapped across his wrist by Amundsen.
One of the mistakes that happened in Lexington, Adam, was as we see big Casey inside, was the Aggies got beat back door a couple times. Just sort of standard, ball goes to the high post and the wing guy cuts back door. And with Jason Hooten's intense defense and denial and wing passes and that kind of thing, it's going to have to be something they're aware of. And I wonder if Aggies have been beat tonight a couple times back door, and I imagine Xavier Webb, the smart young coach for Sul Ross, saw the Kentucky game like we all did.
Second time tonight that Isiagu splits the pair at the free throw line. Aggies within 2. Sanchez, the story for Sul Ross. But he's getting a much needed breather on the bench right now. So now where does the offense come from for Sul Ross? Flores on the catch. Out of the key for Nelson, defended by Cook. Good denial in the back door by Harris. Nelson still with it. Mid-range jumper rims in. Manny Flores, 6'1" sophomore guard from nearby El Paso.
And Trey Nelson has the reputation as a scorer, but a nice pass by him, and he's plenty quick.
Rolls the pull-up. Isiagu trying to tap it in, gets it back. Second effort for the big fella from Canada.
Yeah, he's a workhorse in there.
Likely only probably able to play about 20 minutes per game. That's what he's been during his career. Played 19 minutes on Monday in Lexington. That three swirls away. Isiagu rips in his fourth board. 8 points, 4 boards for the big fella. Rawls running the pick and roll perfectly as he teardrops it through.
Yeah, nice and easy, and he's long-armed and smart. He's bigger than he looks. He might be 6'2" or 6'3", I'd say.
99th career game for Jordan Rawls, senior from Chattanooga. He's been at Georgia State and WKU, his third different D1. Suggs defends Flores. Post entry overthrown, stolen by Christian Cook. Ahead for Harris, he attacks and he's fouled going up. So Jaden Harris will shoot 2 free throws when we come back from break. Home opener for the Aggies, season opener for Sul Ross State. From Lou Henson Court and the Pan Am Center. Free throws for Harris when you return. Tatiana, yeah, I think it's so hard to predict this year, especially with the transfer portal. A lot of these teams have a lot of new pieces, and I feel like, Russ, I'll get your thoughts after this, but I feel like there's going to be a really good parity top to bottom in Conference USA. There's probably not going to be a big margin from the top team to the bottom of the league this year.
I completely agree. I think it'll be a log jam at the top. And there's most unpredictable, I would say, is New Mexico State,
yep,
who's got all these new guys. I've got bad news, Adam. Gabe Sanchez is back in the game for Sul Ross. The Aggies are going to have to find him now. He's got 5 3-pointers.
15 for Sanchez, a perfect 5 for 5 from behind the arc. And once again, it's Jaden Harris who defends him. Now Sanchez is open. Closeout. A little too aggressive by Harris. Corner 3 for Peterson. Ripped in by Monzie Jackson.
But Gabe Sanchez has one of the most important things a good shooter can do is be able to go back door and open things up. And he's got a good sense. He's not overemphasizing standing out at the 3-point line. He's going back door all the time as well.
So Ross likes to shoot the 3 ball. That one misses. Harris on the backside cleans it up. 6-0 Aggie run over the previous 90 seconds. Aggies are looking for Isiagu. Good touch pass. Monzie Jackson finding Casey Isiagu.
Yep, and remember Casey dropped the first pass of the game, but that's unusual for him. He's got pretty good hands for a big guy, as he just demonstrated there, because that one came quick.
Good denial by Cook, not allowing Nelson to touch it. Isiagu trying to kick the ball right there. Yep, he kicked it, no foul called. Shot clock resets to 20. What a pass too by Jackson, that was perfect.
Yep, and didn't hold it for very long, did he?
Do you worry about the size this year behind Isiagu and the depth in the front court?
I do, and I worry about scoring inside. You know, as tough and big as Casey Isiagu is, he's not a natural scorer. I don't think he's going to get 25 a game for the Aggies, and after him it thins out pretty quickly. Big Jonathan is more of a runner and a shot blocker.
Step back 3 for Trey Nelson. I know a big get for Coach Hooten was Kenneth Mangrum, his associate head coach, because Kenneth worked for him before, about 10 years ago at Sam Houston. Knows what Jason expects, and that was a huge get as the associate head coach.
Yes, and there's a few guys on the staff as well that have Sam Houston experience.
Monzie Jackson for 3. He was 46% from there a year ago at Jacksonville State.
Aggies get the lead back.
Sanchez pops out. Pretty good look. How about a half dozen off the bench from distance for Sanchez?
That might be a Pan Am record, is 6 3-pointers in a half. Could that be a Pan Am record?
Might be a Pan Am record for a guy who came off the bench, and there's still 5.5 left. Blocking foul called on Sul Ross State and Bryce Harris. I'll tell you what, we've seen Teddy Allen do some special things from beyond the arc on the floor. We've seen Zach Lofton, and there's not a comparison here between Lofton and Teddy Allen to Sanchez, but what Sanchez has done here in the opener has been quite impressive.
You wouldn't know it from tonight. He looks every bit as good as Teddy Allen or Zach Lofton to me. And again, he does what the great three-pointers learn to do, is to go back door as well. He didn't just stand at the three-point line.
I don't think you can find a better confidence builder than coming to a Division I program and knocking down 6 threes in the first 14-plus minutes off the bench in a game. I
think Xavier Webb has a heck of a good team on his hands. We'll have to keep an eye on them this year, and I'll be surprised if they don't win their league.
Aggies getting to the free throw line a bunch, 10 for 14. Sul Ross State shooting a lot of threes. They have not attempted a free throw. They know they're at a size disadvantage. They've shot a lot of threes. Kick out, Sanchez again. This one an air ball, rushed it. Numbers if the Aggies hurry. Transition, Jaden Harris. Missed it short. Jackson crashing hard, taps it out. Grabbed by Bryson Laird. Loose near midcourt, good hustle shown by Monty Jackson. Peterson gets by Kanyanga. Kanyanga's closeout a little too aggressive.
Yeah. You know, at his size, he probably didn't have to quite come out that hard, but he's been watching the Sul Ross Lobos make 3 after 3 and was probably overly concerned.
Jackson exchanges for Jaden Harris. Harris with 6. Aggies paced by Isiagu with 10. Slithering is Jackson Posey. Here's Jackson from the corner. 2 made threes for Monty Jackson. He can really stretch out the defense. 6'7" post player who can shoot it from the arc. Sanchez inside the arc. Of course, he missed the layup. He hasn't missed anything else. He missed the bunny. Biggest lead for the Aggies tonight, 6. Right now they lead by 4 on possession. Jackson Posey throws it away. He had an issue on Monday with turnovers in Lexington.
Yeah, he had 7 turnovers in Lexington. He had good numbers except for that, but that's an important one if you're going to play the point guard.
Extra pass, wide open Laird, wide right. Pretty good box out there by Kanyanga. Aggies trying to score before the under 4 media. And Jason Hooten wants to draw up a play. Just like Chris Jans was so good coming out of timeouts, drawing up plays and executing, Jason Hooten very similar.
Yeah.
Under 4 media, Aggies by 4 here in their home opener. There's been injuries pretty much all over the place. Jaden Harris missed some time with an injury. Jordan Rawls battled an injury. Of course, Suggs, we talked about that. Kanyanga as well. I mean, that's been the issue really for Jason Hooten, is he hasn't had a practice yet where he's had his entire roster, and right now he doesn't either because he has 2 key players, especially arguably his best player, Femi Odukali, still waiting for the NCAA on waivers.
Yep.
So this might not be the team we're going to see this year if Femi Odukali and or Davion Bradford get their waiver. Good hustle. That is 6'10", 270, diving on Lou Henson court for a loose ball.
He might damage the court. Should we go check and make sure? But what about watch him go for this. Pretty great effort by Casey Isiagu.
Here's Laird, 6 to shoot now for Nelson. Checked by Jackson Posey. Good high hedge by Isiagu. That is beyond 30 feet. Weak side controlled by Rawls. Goes cross court with it for Jaden Harris. Right back to Rawls. Slithers, snakes, floats, hits, and one. Jordan Rawls.
Now that might have been the first defensive breakdown for Hayden Peterson up to this point. Boy, can he guard that number 3. He's the only non-Texas player on the roster. Oh no, that was around Manny Flores.
Rawls really crafty with the pick and roll. Stays patient with it, doesn't try to do too much.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. Is he doesn't rush. His sense of timing is pretty good. He doesn't rush into the crowd. He waits for things to develop.
78% career free throw shooter, 7.5 a game last year in Conference USA, playing for the Hilltoppers of WKU. There's also 3 helpers per game a year ago. He'll run the point. Jalen Jackson Posey will run the point as well. And if the Aggies get Femi Odukali available with that waiver, he could really play 4 different positions on the floor. He could run the point a little bit as well.
Uh-oh.
Nelson throws it into the stands.
Well, one of the bright spots for the Aggies defensively is they've done a good job guarding Trey Nelson, who came in with a pretty big reputation, was their returning leading scorer, and he's quick and strong and clearly knows how to play, but they've sort of stifled him pretty good. He's just got 7 points up to this point.
Aggies on a 6-0 run, on possession here in the home whites. Under 2 left in half 1. Pick and roll game again. Rawls is hit on the J and he drilled it. A second straight 3-point chance upcoming for Jordan Rawls. His pacing is so good. It's like he's in cruise control around the pick.
Yes, he's nice and calm, and that's with a pretty good defender, Hayden Peterson. Again, yeah, Hayden Peterson's the only non-Texas player on the roster for the Sul Ross Lobos.
Cook picking up Trey Nelson in the backcourt. Isiagu all over Tyler Jackson. Scoreless drought, 3 minutes plus for Sul Ross State. 3 is short for Flores, and now the Lobos are going cold. And honestly, it's pretty much just been Sanchez who's been hot here in the first half. Suggs gets the defender in the air. Teardrop is good. Brandon Suggs, his first field goal as an Aggie.
Boy, he seems like he's favoring the leg a little bit. Either he's smiling or he's grimacing out there.
Got to get out on Sanchez. Pull-up jumper. How about 20 in the first half for Sanchez? 20 of the 33 for Sul Ross, coming off the bench from a reserve player. That snaps an 11-0 Aggie run. Rawls a kick out. Cook from the corner. An air ball, and Flores collects. Flores, deep 2 from the corner. Well, that won't make Jason Hooten happy. A lot of offensive rebounds in this first half for the Lobos. That's 4.
No, I think Jordan Rawls just took his eye off his man, didn't box him out, and Casey can't get every rebound.
Aggies will play 4 guards pretty often this year, just thin with depth in the front court. Rawls waiting for Isiagu for the ball screen. Splits 2, floater from 10, left it short. Sanchez the rebound. Suggs pulled it away, and that'll do it for 1 half. Sul Ross State led by 5 midway through the first half. Jordan Rawls played well. He scored 8, 10 apiece for Monty Jackson and Casey Isiagu. New Santa Credit Union halftime show comes your way next.
I'm afraid we're going to have to make do with what we've got, at least for the time being.
And then injury-wise, the Aggies have battled tons of injuries in the preseason. They are still without Yak Yak, the freshman 6'11" post player from Adelaide, Australia. They hope to have him back, ready to go here soon. Sul Ross State in the black on the road, their season opener. This is an exhibition game for them. Jackson Posey gets whistled for the defensive foul, his first personal. The Aggies only committed 1 foul in half 1. But honestly, the Lobos didn't get inside the arc much. They were shooting threes, so they weren't attacking. They did not shoot a free throw in that first half.
No, that's right. And the Aggies were able to limit them to just 3 offensive rebounds. But the Aggies only had 3 offensive rebounds, and I do think without a dominant center, they're going to have to get more aggressive on particularly on the offensive boards.
3 out of the corner, hits the side of the backboard. Offensive rebound, though, for the Lobos, and a second chance effort drops in for Trey Nelson. Once again, 15 a game a year ago, senior out of Irving, Texas.
And Big Casey shut him down on the first one, and then he knocked the second one down.
Rawls shooting a lot of floaters. He banks this one in. They're going to count it and 1 for Jordan Rawls.
Boy, you have him pegged exactly correctly, though, Adam. He's completely under control, and he's got a good sense of timing. He's in no hurry. Watch him just make a good decision. Doesn't go all the way to the best. Just stop there, nice and easy.
I know most head coaches just say, we'll go with the starters for half 2, but are you still surprised that Sanchez isn't starting half 2 for the Lobos?
Well, I don't know. He seems
right?
to be their secret weapon, and it worked pretty well for him in the first half. I don't think he'll be sitting there for very long.
I'd keep him on the floor for the entire game. You can't miss. 11 now for Rawls to pace all scorers for the Aggies. 20 for Sanchez, though, to pace all scorers overall. Scoop shot is good. That is Kalen Abels, a junior from Nevada, Texas. Ouachita Baptist University transfer.
He looked good going to the basket there.
Rawls going to work on Peterson. Skip out to Suggs. Post touch for Isiagu. Big height advantage for Casey. Monty Jackson trying to crash, could not corral.
Oh.
And it's a traveling violation on Nelson. Turnover number 8 on the Lobos.
I'll say this for Jalen Jackson Posey. He's turned the ball over a couple times, but he's an intense on-the-ball defender. He's long-armed and plenty quick and a smart defender. And he forced that turnover.
This might be an entirely new roster, but the experience at the D1 level in the Aggie backcourt is pretty high level. A lot of collegiate games for Rawls and Jackson Posey. Monty Jackson fouled. He will shoot 2. Suggs, a lot of career games. I mean, this is a pretty experienced Division I backcourt despite the entirely new roster.
That's right. That's right. They've been through the mill, and they're from good programs. They've had solid careers up to this point. Now's their time to step up, though, and do more than be solid. They've got a chance to really be the team leaders here.
Third different Division I school, 4th different school overall for Monzi. He was at Polk State JUCO, then Wichita State, then Jacksonville State. 7-5 a year ago for the Gamecocks of Jack State. You know, Russ, they go by Jax State, not Jacksonville State anymore.
I didn't know.
They totally flipped it. Just like, you know, Marvin Menzies, forever we called it UMKC, right? Now they just want to be called Kansas City.
Huh.
A lot of schools changing their names. IPFW now goes by Fort Wayne. Isiagu defending Bryce Harris. Aggies poke it away. Suggs is pushed. Foul on the Lobos.
He's favoring that leg a little bit, Suggs. Or maybe he's just an old guy like me.
You know, this is a really tough turnaround as well for the Aggies. We haven't mentioned this because I'm sure Jason Hooten probably doesn't want to bring it up, but they had some travel issues yesterday. They had flights canceled, and they were not on schedule in returning here to Las Cruces yesterday from Lexington. So they battled some travel issues yesterday to get here. They did get a late practice in yesterday in the evening. Scoop shot no good for Jackson Posey. Out to Rawls. Suggs a wing 3. And he's fouled on the 3. So he will shoot 3 from the line.
And was there? I knew there were travel issues, but I assumed that meant going to Kentucky. It was coming back.
It's coming back, yeah. It's coming back. And they had to book entirely new flights. So
they hung around at the airport for hours and hours.
Yeah.
Well,
maintenance issues, the whole 9 yards.
We should stop. I know Jason Hooten wouldn't want to make excuses.
He doesn't want to make excuses.
No, we won't. Well, let's forget about it. We've already revealed the secret games.
And I'm pretty sure as well he didn't love what they had to do with the schedule as far as playing on the road Monday and then playing at home Wednesday, because you only have one day in between.
Yeah.
But anyway, now the Aggies will travel to Irvine, California Friday to play at UC Irvine Saturday. The Anteaters played last night. Now they're off until this weekend.
Well, it's one of the tough things, as you well know. It's one of the tough things about being in the West, is that travel is going to be brutal because there's not many games we can drive to.
Tyler Jackson, defended by Isiagu, dumps it in the corner to Nelson. Rode away again, stolen by Monzie Jackson. Sling ahead for Jackson Posey. Defender slips. Jackson Posey almost slipped as well.
That's the second time Monzie Jackson has come up with a heads-up steal.
There's Monzie attacking. Floater short. Isiagu snags it, then lost it. Popped loose. Grabbed by Abels. Monzie gets called for reaching in.
He's got a good sense of anticipation, though, Monzie Jackson.
Now this is the juncture on Monday when this Aggie team kind of ran out of gas, right? I mean, they only trailed by 8 at halftime. How is their conditioning? We're going to see here tonight.
Well, yeah, we're about to find out. That's right. And it'll be especially tougher, just even without the flight delays. It's still tough to, 2 days ago they were 1,400 miles away.
They've had to do so much teaching this year in practice with an entirely new roster. Outside of Isiagu, only one guy has played for Jason Hooten, and that's Isiagu. So just Casey, and that's it. So he's having to do a lot of teaching, which means the conditioning probably has backed off a little bit because you're having to stop practice so often to teach every little thing on how Jason Hooten wants it.
I think that's right. But if he doesn't do it now, he'll be doing it he'll be doing it in February, and that's not a good idea.
Is he about as detail-oriented as any coach that you've seen?
Well, he's funny. He seems to be a cross between Lou Henson and Chris Jans to me, where he's incredibly intense, defense first, we're going to make a great effort, but he's a detailed guy, particularly about where exactly your feet are going to go and what spot on the floor you're going to go to, which is how Lou Henson was. This is exactly where you're supposed to be on this, and so he's very detail-oriented. Yet he's got the intensity of Chris Jans, for the defensive end.
Rawls, kick out to Suggs. Here's Kanyanga, known for his shot blocking, not necessarily his offense. Suggs a step in three, way off, and Kanyanga can't get to it. Russ, you've known Jason for, close to 30 years, right?
That's right. When he was at Tarleton State as a freshly minted assistant when I was at UTEP.
Did you know back then he was going to be a good head coach one day?
Well, this is what Lon Reisman had told me he was, but you don't pay. Everyone says that about everybody, and I didn't have. Lon Reisman was probably the most highly respected coach in the country that wasn't famous at Tarleton State for many, many years. And boy, he ran it like boot camp, and Jason ate it up.
Sanchez on the dribble, pinballs off, snatched in by Rawls.
He's human, Gabe Sanchez.
Rawls to the rim, finger roll is good. 13 for Jordan Rawls off the bench.
And Jonathan Kayunga made the right decision there. He was going to slam it back in if he missed, but pulled his hands back just at the right time.
Blow by for Peterson, kick out to Sanchez. This time he misses short on his three. Only his second miss from beyond the arc. Rawls working that pick and roll game again. Jaden Harris, a pull up from the foul line. Kanyanga gets the board, kick out to Rawls. Harris straight arm. Monzie Jackson the board, he attacks. Kanyanga trying to stick it in. Pinball's out to the arc. Here's Harris to the rim. Put back try, no good for Jackson. Foul called. Monzie Jackson relentless. Love the effort. We'll see when we come back if they give Monty a couple of free throws. Already a handful of rebounds for him. Aggies lead by 10 early on in half 2.
Coming out of the year the Aggies had last year, it's going to take some time, and I hope the fans will be patient. I know he's completely impatient.
The atmosphere's been good tonight. Good crowd on hand here for the opener on a Wednesday night. And I know he was frustrated too with the schedule, and he did everything he could. He's one of the rare head coaches, Russ, who actually handles the scheduling himself. He didn't know that it was going to be as tough as it was going to be to schedule opponents here.
Yes,
and that's been the case for years.
And that was always something I did, both for my entire career, was scheduling it. Although now there's websites. I didn't know that until you told me before the game. But this,
Sanchez passes up a 3. Yeah, there's actually some sort of a coach's website where you can see the availability for teams and what dates they're looking for, and that's how the whole Kentucky game happened. Straight on 3 is off for Tyler Jackson. And I know Jason was close with some pretty good opponents to get here, and it just kind of fell apart at the end, and I think people were still not wanting to come here because of the atmosphere and the success the Aggies have had historically here on top of Lou Henson Court. 3 swishes in, that's Jaden Harris. Aggies are 123-16 here at the Pan Am in the previous 10 years. Harris rips in the rebound.
Boy, he plays hard, Jaden Harris.
Rawls in the corner, there's Cook. Jackson crashing hard again, fires it out to Cook, and he traveled. Absolutely love the effort. We saw Isiagu dive in for a loose ball in front of the bench earlier. We have seen Jackson doing everything he can to corral a rebound.
Boy, and Brendan Suggs he's limping off. He limped off the court. No, he's on the bicycle.
9-0 Aggie run over the previous 4+. Sul Ross State hasn't scored in 5 minutes now. Devereaux Minix hounded by Jackson Posey, and he got a little too tight. Good defense for a while, and then Jalen got a little too aggressive.
Well, just the classic thing we tell kids: don't reach, and it's hard not to when you're as quick as Jalen Jackson Posey.
And for the first time this year, we're going to see true freshman Keelan Dorsey, 6'5" freshman guard from Houston, highly touted out of Eisenhower High. He was originally committed to Sam Houston, but flipped when Jason Hooten got the job here. He can really score, Russ.
Yeah, I really like him. He's the only true freshman on the team, as you mentioned, and I think he just oozes with potential. I'm delighted to see him in the game here.
And he might have been called for a reach. Now, Jason Hooten said post-game on radio Monday that he was still trying to figure out what they were going to do with Dorsey. And what I mean by what are they going to do, are they going to redshirt him or play him this year? A lot of it would depend on the waiver for Femi Odukali. And also, too, I don't think Jason wanted to play Keelan Dorsey at Rupp Arena in front of 18,000 in Game 1 collegiately. That is a tough atmosphere to make your debut in.
That could be, but I'll bet Keelan Dorsey was itching to get into the game. He's been terrific in practice the times I've been there. So he's got a really good work ethic. He's got a nice shot. He's long. There's him on the right of your screen there.
The length really stands out.
Yes.
6'5" guard.
Yeah, he's 6'5", but he's got arms like a 6'8" guy.
And with the transfer portal nowadays, guys like Dorsey coming out of high school get overlooked.
Yes, yes.
Rawls, Carpenter, Dorsey, Harris, and Cook for NM State. Very small lineup here. And Cook, aggressive to the rim. He will shoot a pair. It's a small lineup because there's so many guards out there, but they do have big guards.
That's right. They're long-armed guards. They're not little. There's no little guards on the team, but it is a noticeable difference, isn't it, Adam? With Big Casey on the bench, it gives us a completely different look.
Cook, a transfer from Northeastern State, Division II. He was 16 points per game a season ago. Had 10 points in a team-high 34 minutes on Monday. Gets 1 out of 2. The comparison we were talking about off the air earlier, Ross, is Cameron Hoofner. Layup is short for Jackson, who played for Jason Hooten a year ago at Sam Houston. Was 10 a game at Pitt State as Dorsey misses the 3, which is the same D2 league as Cook, and Cook was 6 points per game more than Hoofner, and Hoofner was one of the better players for Sam Houston a year ago.
Yes, so you would think that it bodes well for our Christian Cook.
And I think it proved, too, to Jason Hooten that you can go from that league at D2 and have success at the mid-major level at D1 and be one of the team's better players. Dribble drive for Harris. Strong finish for the JUCO transfer. Sanchez quiet so far in the half. Here's Flores. Right back to Sanchez. Trying to bounce underneath.
Uh-oh.
Blocked away by Carpenter. Rawls looking for Carpenter, finds Dorsey, connects from the corner.
Well, Jason Hooten gave him a look when he shot the other one, the first one, a little too quick. It wasn't really his out of the flow of the offense, but this one was, and you can see why we're so excited about Keelan Dorsey.
Sanchez, quick release. Dorsey corrals the rebound. Pull back for Harris, swings it for the wing. Cook will heave. He missed it short. Good box out there by Tyler Jackson. Sanchez fumbles it and gets called for carrying the basketball. And that will send us to the under-12 media. Aggies with their biggest lead. They are plus 10 in half 2. Keelan Dorsey making an impact. Carpenter making an impact. Aggies up 61-40 at Tatiana. Have you been up there yet, Russ?
Yeah, it's pretty fancy,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's luxurious.
Well, the kicker, too, is if you own one of those suites, you get the suite for concerts.
Wow.
So let's say Garth Brooks comes back, and if anybody's going to get Garth Brooks back, it's going to be Mother Hubbard, right? And you would have the suite for the Garth Brooks concert.
Unbelievable. That's
a nice
great
kicker.
benefit. That's a great benefit. We see Xavier Webb, the young coach for Sul Ross. He doesn't look too happy now, but boy, he's got a good team this year, I think.
He's a former player at Sul Ross, promoted from interim to head coach in April of 2021. Harris into the corner for Cook. Step back 3 for Cook. Collected by Flores. Flores, transition 3, way off. Cleared by Rawls. 13 points, 3 boards for Jordan Rawls. Throws up another floater. That's his game.
Yeah, there it is. Boy. He's completely under control, and he's just got, he goes hard, and he's got the soft touch going up. It's fun to watch.
What a luxury to bring him off the bench, at least early on in the year coming off the bench. Dorsey with the swat. 3 points and a block for Keelan Dorsey. First collegiate action. Rawls, teardrop again. This one too strong. Iziagu, and he's fouled on the rebound. Flores gets whistled for it.
He wanted a quick kick it out to Christian Cook for another 3.
Well, this game right now is kind of a role reversal, if you will, from Monday. The Aggies trailed at Kentucky by 8, lost by 40, 86-46 final. Aggies only led by 8 here. Right now they lead by 21 after that made free throw for Iziagu. His 108th career game, 6th year collegiately. And this young man's been all over. UTEP, Kansas State, Sam Houston playing his final year as an Aggie. From Brampton, Ontario, Canada. Actually played prep school basketball with Jordan Rawls, fellow Aggie teammate, so they know each other well. An 18-3 Aggie run. Good help defense from Harris, and Sul Ross State will keep it. Jalen Jackson-Posey coming in for Jaden Harris. How would you grade the effort here tonight on a Jason Hooten effort scale?
Well,
I
know he'd say a 3 on a 10, but what's impressed me is they've played harder in the second half, as I think they get their sort of their airport legs, get the airport out of their system, and they've really bounced back here in the second half. They've had more energy in the second half than they did in the first, and that's always a good sign.
I heard Jason Hooten say during practice to players, your idea of how hard you're playing is not how hard I think you're playing. I still think you can play harder. And Chris Jans used to always say that, right?
Yeah.
Iziagu, dump ball from Jordan Rawls.
I've heard that quite a few times, actually, at practice, and I've been impressed with the effort in practice, and he'll stop and say, we're not working hard enough. And he drives him hard. He's not an easy guy to play for.
Larry Morrison now in the game, number 34 in black for Sul Ross. Aggie lead has grown up to 23. Catch and shoot three from the sideline is too heavy for Fever. Cook, Iziagu, Rawls, Dorsey, and Jackson-Posey for the Aggies with the ball here in the home white. And Dorsey travels. Of course, turnover on Keelan Dorsey. Rawls will head off. Monty Jackson back in. I know the depth still isn't where Jason Hooten wants it to be, but it's still helpful to have Suggs back. You feel like just having another body helps out with your depth.
Yes, I think that's right, but well, he looked like he was grimacing to me. I hope his leg is okay.
Hard hedge by Iziagu. Peterson, a floater over Iziagu, and then Iziagu uses his 6'10", 270 frame to grab it in. Dorsey, quick release. He can really shoot it. His second triple for freshman Keelan Dorsey. And then Peterson fumbled it away out of bounds.
Well, he almost spent a little too much time basking in the glory of that three. But he's got a quick release. He's got good balance. He's going to be a great player.
I know Sul Ross turned it over, but Jason Hooten not happy because Jackson-Posey never got back defensively. This will send us to a media. 8.5 left. The Aggies are on a 13-0 scoring run. And I like that Keelan Dorsey is getting some minutes in a game like this. We weren't sure if he was going to play tonight. Jason Hooten brings him in. He's been able to provide valuable minutes, and who knows, maybe he'll steal some minutes down the road. Jackson-Posey, Jackson, Cook, Iziagu, and Dorsey as Jackson-Posey floats it in. He only has 4, but
from the Jordan Rawls playbook.
School of floaters, right?
Yeah.
Monty Jackson called for a kick. Do you feel like Jackson-Posey has to be a double-figure scorer, or can he average 7 or 8 a game like he did in SFA and still impact the game?
I think he's going to be 10 points and 6 assists and 1 turnover or 2 turnover, and he's long enough to rebound a little bit too.
That's the thing Jason Hooten talked about during the preseason. You have guys like Jackson-Posey and Rawls and Suggs. All of them were about 7 or 8 a game at their previous school, and needs some of those guys to be double-figure scorers to have success.
That's right. They're going to have to step up a little bit.
Iziagu, good defense. Dorsey with the steal. And a shot clock violation is called on Sul Ross, so they blow the play dead. And now this is going to send us to the media, it looks like. 7:49 left. This should be the Under 8 media. It will. We'll take a break. Good home openers so far for Jason Hooten's squad here at the Pan Am. BC or James Madison. James Madison beat Michigan State on opening night.
Yes, it's not going to get any easier for the Aggies.
Tough challenge ahead coming up this weekend at UC Irvine. Russell Turner always does such a good job with that program. Keelan Dorsey scoring at will right now offensively. He has 8.
Yeah, he's long-legged and long-armed. He moves pretty good.
Sanchez 0 for 3 from the field in this half after 20 and a half one. Ezeagu, the rebound. That's his 8th. Approaching a double-double. 13 and 8 for Casey Ezeagu. Dorsey slings it out. Monty Jackson off on the 3. Ezeagu, another L board. Foul going up.
He's a horse.
Russ, historically during his career, he's been 15 minutes per game. I think the Aggies need that to go up, though. I think it needs to be 20 plus this year.
Yes, I mean, if Yak is going to be hurt, you know, and big Jonathan Kayanga's still, you know, he's still got the, you know, he's got to get out of the Division II sort of mentality. He might have to be 25 minutes this year, Casey Ezeagu. And what a leader he is. He's the one in practice. He's the first one in line, and he's as big as a house.
If you look at the roster, you look at Ezeagu, he's 6'10". Yak 6'11". Davion Bradford 7 feet tall. So the Aggies have a big roster, but Bradford's waiting on a waiver. Yak currently injured. We'll see when he comes back, and that means Ezeagu has to pick up the slack.
Yes.
At least for now. And that's the thing, too, during that offseason where Jason Hooten had to build an entire roster. He got some really good guards right away, but it was so hard to get good front court players. I mean, those are a dime a dozen, aren't they, Russ?
Yes, yes. I'm perplexed by that goaltending call. That looked to me like Jonathan got that on the way up.
That snaps a scoreless drought of 6+ minutes for Sul Ross State. So it counts for Sanchez. He now has 22. Bounce pass to Kanyanga. Back on the arc to Cook. Stays patient. Pull up from the baseline. Shorts. Kanyanga might have been held. No call. Nelson in transition, and he's bumped going up.
Well, Trey Nelson hasn't quite got untracked, but you can see what all the fuss is about him. He's quick and strong, and he goes right into the gap there. I was surprised he went in that direction.
Nelson will shoot 2. Aggies have done a decent job on him tonight. He has scored 10, but he's 2 for 8 from 3. Nelson a little beat up after getting fouled by Kanyanga. Shooting into the very busy student section. A lot of credit on the turnout by the students, really the fans in general. This is a nice crowd for a Wednesday, a really nice student turnout as well.
Yeah, they should be doing their homework. As soon as they get home, will say as a professor, but if they'll just hurry home, they can be home by 10 and get back into the books.
I did see a couple of student athletes in the student section with their computers, so they are multitasking.
Oh,
they're working
good.
on homework while watching the game.
That's good to know.
That's okay.
That's good to know. We'll give them a pass.
Aggies rolling with Jackson, Posey, Harris, Dorsey, and Kanyanga. It's been a great half. 31-12, the Aggies outscoring the Lobos here in half 2. Dorsey exchanges for Harris, now to Jackson, Posey. Jaden Harris attacks off the dribble. Back in the arc to Jackson, Posey. He'll heave from 3, short. Cleared by Laird. First action for Jaden Kanaba, sophomore from Alpine, Texas, where the Lobos are located. Shot no good for Laird. Jackson Posey, low post to Kanyanga. Spinning to his left. Shot was altered. trying to rip it in, and we get a jump ball. Possession will stay with the Aggies. I know the Aggies understand they're not going to get a ton offensively out of Kanyanga, but they're hoping to get a little bit. He's really good defensively, man. He can really block shots.
And the way he can help is by hitting the offensive boards, getting putbacks.
Harris hits the top of the backboard, and it is saved on the baseline by Amundsen. Extra pass, a 3 for Kanaba, no good. Cleared by Dorsey, his first rebound. These are still very big minutes down the stretch, these final 5. Like every minute you get right now for Jason Hooten is very valuable.
I completely agree. Uh-oh.
Monty Jackson called for traveling. The Aggies looking for their 14th straight home opener win. It'll be a quick turnaround again as they travel Friday to Irvine to play UC Irvine this coming weekend. Around the horn it goes to Peterson. In the corner for Kanaba. 10 to shoot for the Lobos. Kanaba, head of the key. 3 for Amundsen. Pinball's off. Dorsey snatches it in. Probably won't see Rawls or Isiagu or Suggs the rest of the way. We're going to see the bench right now for the Aggies. Pretty thin bench as Harris is bumped going up, and Jaden Harris will shoot 2.
But Jonathan Kanyanga just right there went after that offensive rebound. If he can just do that, watch him follow up here. If he can just do that and go get the offensive rebounds, he can really help the Aggies.
Robert Carpenter will check in here momentarily. Probably still a minute's restriction for him coming back from injury. He's only had a handful of practices leading up to the start of the season. And Harris in and out with his first free throw. Here comes Carpenter. Comes in for Kanyanga. I think Carpenter could be an X factor. I mean, he was 18 a game a year ago at Mississippi Valley State. He's played at a high level collegiately. He was also at St. Bonaventure. But he's still rusty. He's still trying to get back in game shape because he hasn't practiced much.
Yeah, he was on the bicycle a couple of times when I was at practice.
This is not a finished product. You know, we talked a couple of years ago when Chris Giants had things rolling where when you watched the Aggies play in November and then watched them play in February and March, they were a totally different team. And I think that's going to happen under Jason Hooten as well.
Yes, it's going to have to happen. And we can't expect too much too soon with so many new guys.
One and one for Miles Amundsen, 6'10" freshman out of Fort Worth. Too strong on the free throw, and Carpenter taps it to himself. Rawls, Jackson Posey, Carpenter, Harris, and Dorsey. So Rawls does come back in.
Yeah, Carpenter's limping, Adam. He's
Jackson Posey stutters. Out of the key for Jaden Harris. Mid-post to Carpenter. 6'7" forward, step back, foul line, fade away, way short. And it's scooped up by Flores. Mid-post extended, Amundsen. Good pass down low, and that's goaltending on Dorsey. The finish for Ibarra. And this will send us to a media. 3:26 left in the second half. It's all Aggies tonight here on top of Lou Henson Court. Right now the officials are at the monitor because they're reviewing a couple of basket interference calls that happened in the previous 3+ minutes, so they can review it. And they're actually checking out 2 of them. The first one, Russ, you thought might have been the wrong call.
That's right. I was scratching my head and wondering. It was about the 6-minute mark, but I'm not sure on the. You know, it looked to me like Jonathan Kanyanga got the ball going up. It seemed clearly to be going up. He did hit it off the backboard, but that's not goaltending if it's on the way up. He didn't pin it against the backboard, but we'll see what they say here.
Good crew tonight. Kelly Self, Randall Anders, and John Jenkins Jr. They started this review right when the media timeout occurred, and it's extended into post-media timeout. So the officials will come back over and check in with us and let us know what the call is.
Well, we
appreciate that.
They had to review both of them. Should I go over and help them, Adam? I might.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, here they come. Okay.
Both goaltenders are going to stand. The one at 6:38 and the one we just called.
All right, so both calls will stand.
Well, as usual, I was wrong.
So the score will stay 74-49. You're in midseason form, Russ.
I know.
Mid-season form.
Usually it's January before I admit that
no.
I've been wrong again.
Great to have you with us tonight. Aggies have won 13 consecutive home openers, and they are in position for another one here tonight. Jordan Rawls has had a good floor game. Deep two, missed it short. I think those tired legs are showing a bit once again, Russ, just like Monday. Flores, top of the key for Laird. Stolen by Jackson Posey. Turnover number 16 on Sul Ross. Snaking down low is Jackson Posey, and he's fouled going up. He will shoot a pair. Jalen Jackson Posey will shoot his first 2 free throws here tonight. 4 points, 4 helpers, a couple of rebounds as well. Junior out of Midland, 69% career free throw shooter. 7 points per game in his 2 years at Stephen F. Austin. Mainly came off the bench. Did start 14 times though in 2 years. On some really good Lumberjacks teams. Laird, defended by Jackson Posey. Turned over again by the Lobos, and then Harris is tripped up. Aggies will shoot 2, and Jaden Harris will shoot the free throws. So far, so good in the transition to the Division I game for Jaden Harris, who has started both games. South Plains JUCO transfer. A junior out of Atlanta, known as a good shooter. Had really good percentage numbers at South Plains. This is it short. I think it's those tired legs again, especially with that travel,
yeah,
Russ.
I think that's right. And they had that burst of energy after the half.
Deep 2 for Ibarra, no good. Snared in by Jaden Harris. Tough shooting half for Sul Ross, just 24% from the field here in the half. Jackson Posey will launch a 3. Too deep, Carpenter grabs it offensive. Harris will reset. Rawls uses the Carpenter screen twice. Maneuvers. Flip shot no good. Carpenter will stick it back in. First made field goal for Robert Carpenter, the junior from Detroit. Final 1:45. Kick out of the corner. Kanaba too strong. Carpenter again on the weak side, and he's fouled. He will shoot 2.
Well, he got up off the hardwood. Carpenter was flat on his back and jumped up and grabbed the rebound. Pretty great effort by Robert Carpenter.
Hasn't been a great shooting half for the Aggies, but Sul Ross has really struggled offensively, only scoring 14 points. The Aggies are plus 21 here in half 2. First of 2 for Carpenter, good. Another guy who's been well-traveled, St. Bonaventure, Pearl River JUCO, Mississippi Valley State, now his 4th different school. Looking good on both. The Aggies hit 80 to 49, final 140. Flores fumbled it, lost it. Bounces it back door to Jordan Ryan, who just checked in. First action for him. Ryan lost it, scooped up by Carpenter. How much of this offensive trouble in half two for Sul Ross has been the Aggie defense, Russ?
Well, I think it's probably a bit of everything. They're exhausted. They kind of they fired their best bullets in the first half, I think, and and Gabe Sanchez has not caught fire in the second half like he did in the first half. And I thought they might be in a little bit of trouble. There was no way that he could keep up that torrid pace that he was shooting at.
Vince Perales and Trevin Koffel coming in for Sul Ross State. Right back to Jackson Posey. Backdoor, little give and go there with Carpenter. Second effort, and this time it swirls through.
A nice pass by Jalen Jackson Posey.
Fifth helper. If Carpenter would have made it, but he missed on the first try, and just 4 assists now for Jackson Posey. Tipped out to Dorsey. 3-on-1. Dorsey. Finger roll. No good. Basket will not count, and Dorsey will shoot 2 as he was bumped.
Well, a 4-point attempt by Laird. Free throw for Dorsey, no good. This is one of the big bright spots here tonight, Russ, is what Keelan Dorsey has done. 8 points, 3 rebounds, did not play in half one, but has certainly played well here in half two. Misses both. Rebound for Koffel. We know this, though, Russ. This weekend, the Aggies will have to play very well to pull away a road win at Irvine. No, that's right, and it's one of the most underrated teams in the country the last few years.
Double figures for Dorsey. He has 10. Irvine lost in their season opener by 8 against San Jose State on the road. The Aggies have actually won 8 of their previous 10 against UC Irvine. Jackson Posey will dribble it out, and the Aggies will pick up their first win in the Jason Hooten era. 84-49 the final score. The Aggies outscore the Lobos 41-14 in half two.